Brexit isn't the only referendum that's causing consternation within the European Union. Hungarians will go to the polls later this year to decide whether they'll accept mandatory EU quotas for resettling refugees. The country's Prime Minister is standing firm on his anti-migrant stance, and that's boosted his public support. Europe correspondent Steve Kinane has more from Budapest.
Hungary is one of the most hardline EU nations when it comes to dealing with asylum seekers. It built a fence on its border to stop the flow of migrants, and now it's holding a referendum over the EU's right to force them to resettle refugees.
So I'm pretty sure that a referendum like this will be followed by other countries as well. Quite clearly, we don't believe that Europe is listening enough to the facts.
The Orbán government is spending around $90 million on the campaign, all to try and stop the EU resettling 1,300 refugees in Hungary.
The government feels that this is the most important and most popular issue for them. In the Hungarian society, the xenophobic tendencies are quite strong.
Hungary, it's one people, so one country for one people.
When I heard that they were building the fence, I was literally counting down the days until completion.
The right is on the rise in Hungary. 65% of Hungarians back either the populist right-wing Orbán government or the far-right Jobbik party. Last month, by a margin of 136 votes to 5, the Hungarian parliament voted to hold this referendum. And that's got the European Union worried. The rise of nationalist right-wing parties in Europe could undermine the EU's authority. We could see more referendums on policies that certain nations don't like, and governments campaigning actively against the EU. But it's not just the EU in the firing line. Dora Kanizai runs a church-based refugee mission. Since Prime Minister Orbán linked migrants with terrorism, she's found it virtually impossible to find landlords who will house refugees.
The government made it look like as all foreigners are possibly terrorists, and the average citizen just doesn't want to do anything with them, with the fear that they are bad people.
This campaign is not just about rhetoric. As of June the 1st, the government abolished integration benefits for refugees.
This support originally is for them to move out of the camps, to rent apartments, to pay the deposit, and to make a living, and to pay for Hungarian lessons.
Why would you abolish that if integration is important to you?
Integration is very important for us, for those people who want to integrate. When you don't have people who want to integrate, because most people actually are heading to Germany and Sweden.
Hungary is due to hold its referendum later this year. It will be yet another test for an increasingly fractured European Union. Steve Kinane, ABC News, Budapest.